Hello and welcome. I'm Melinda Kinlami. Tonight, federal lawmakers demand total actualization of June 12, 1993 presidential election. Senators ask INEC to announce results as representatives challenge Buhari's Democracy Day declaration. Mixed reactions trail Democracy Day announcement. Opposition PDP accuses President Buhari of playing politics, while Chief Abiola's daughter, Hafsat, commends the gesture. Security chiefs meet with the president for the third time this week. Defense minister says it's a review of the last meeting's decisions. And South African High Court sentences man who murdered his parents and brother with an axe to life in prison.
On business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria releases guidelines for Naira 1 swap agreement, directs all commercial and merchant banks to open banks' accounts.
And in sports news tonight, Nigeria's Super Eagles slipped by one spot to occupy 48th position in the monthly ranking of football playing nations by FIFA.
From Abuja, 110 returnees returned from Libya, including 7 children, arrive in the Benin City, the Edo State capital, share tales of terrifying experiences.
We'll begin tonight with the reaction of federal lawmakers to the president's decision to change Democracy Day from May 29th to June 12th, with some insisting it goes against the Public Holidays Act. The House was thrown into a rowdy session that lasted for about 15 minutes over the matter. However, both chambers applaud the president's decision to recognize and honor the late Chief Moshood Abiola, but some lawmakers have an axe to grind with the award. Meanwhile, Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, believes there's more to the president's announcement and they are suspecting foul play. The PDP is accusing President Muhammadu Buhari of seeking to use the name of the late MKO Abiola to gain political capital and would rather prefer that the president respects the laws of the country if he really wants to honor him. A statement from the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Kola Ologbodiyan, says, and I quote, "If President Buhari genuinely wants to honor Chief Abiola, he should do so by ending all anti-democratic activities of his administration and allow for the rule of law and respect for our constitution. It is, therefore, a sign of political desperation for President Buhari to seek to use Chief Abiola's names as a tool to sway Nigerians in less than 12 months to an election where he, that's President Buhari, is seeking a second term." End of quote. The statement also questions why members of Buhari's government refused to support the naming of the University of Lagos after Abiola by the former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. For the Abiola family, the feeling is still surreal. His daughter, Hafsat Abiola Costello, says the family appreciates the declaration made by the president because it's better late than never.
I cannot believe it. I still pray that it's not that somebody will wake me up and say, I was sleeping or something. I just cannot believe it. It's so long overdue. 25 years. You know, it should have been done in 1999. It should have been done, June 12 should have been declared the day of transition in May 1999. It was not. And that was already a signal that Nigerians were going to be cheated. We had fought soldiers, we had fought the army that wanted to oppress and dictate to us. And now that it's time for us to now begin this new democratic transition, it was as if they pulled out someone that would continue to protect their interest and not recognize and validate the interests and needs and rights of the people of Nigeria. We saw with June 12 that even before an army that has with soldiers that are armed, journalists came out, wrote articles. I mean, people were on the streets, labor unions went on strike, market women went on strike, and shut down a powerful military dictatorship. So now, if we want this democracy to continue to deliver for us, we must be prepared to continually engage, continually challenge and demand, because the whole freedom, not just of Nigeria, but of Africa and indeed of the black world, is resting on Nigeria. So we cannot get Nigeria wrong.
And our correspondent Terry Ukumi will be telling us how the federal lawmakers reacted to the president's announcement.
The Senate and the House of Representatives devoted a huge chunk of their respective plenary sessions to discuss President Buhari's posthumous award on the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, Moshood Abiola. In the House of Representatives, lawmakers applaud President Buhari's decision.
Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues to join us in commending the President for this wonderful effort. Anybody who has shown the act of courage to do what is right, even in the face of threat to his life, should be acclaimed a hero in this country. And I will support that Professor Humphrey Wosu be included in those who will receive the honor.
But some lawmakers pick holes in the President's declaration.
The award within which the National Assembly acted and within third which National Assembly acted is that this honor is to be given to Mr. President, existing President or former President who are still alive and not done posthumous.
The fifth schedule of that act, the principal act, says that 29th of May is our Democracy Day. So if the President intends to change that act, it cannot be by way of a proclamation. It has to come. It has to come as a bill.
Then it suddenly turns rowdy as lawmakers are divided over the legality of the President's decision. The Speaker intervenes and holds further debate on the matter.
So this matter is referred to Committee on Justice and Rules and Business to advise the House on the implication of the provision of Section 2 minimize your noise to the Public Holidays Act that we have passed. That's my ruling.
Meanwhile, in the Senate, President Buhari's posthumous award on the late MKO Abiola is lauded. However, as is the case in the House of Representatives, some senators also pick holes in the President's action.
The results of that election was never announced. This is the time for the results to be properly announced by INEC, because government is a continuum, and declare President MKO Abiola as a president.
Subject to paragraph 2 of this article, a person shall be eligible for appointment to any rank of any order unless he is a citizen of Nigeria. A dead man is not a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
But a lawmaker makes a caustic remark which his colleagues do not appreciate.
I want to propose that we also designate the 31st of December as a Democracy Destruction Day, because that was the day that this same president did a coup that removed introducing any other thing that will create problem on this floor. I think Mr. President should not be allowed. I therefore urge Mr. President to call Senator Abaribe to order. I so submit.
The Senate finally makes some resolutions, namely that INEC should announce the results of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, that the Buhari administration should ensure that all entitlements due to late MKO Abiola and Babagana Kingibe are paid as president and vice president, that the present administration should recognize Babagana Kingibe as Vice President-elect and declare June 12 as a public holiday, and that May 29th should remain the date for inauguration.
As the country rejoices over the proclamation of the president, some questions to be pondered are: if the June 12 election was allowed to stand, what impact would it have had on the country's democracy? And as we prepare for the 2019 general elections, are we prepared to replicate the 1993 election in terms of voting, irrespective of tribe and religion? And can INEC guarantee such a free, fair and credible general election? Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
And to tidy things up, President Buhari has directed the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, to take immediate steps to publish the recently conferred national honors in the Federal Gazette. According to the order, Chief MKO Abiola is posthumously conferred with Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, while Chief Gani Fawemi receives the posthumous GCON. The President also directed that this should be done so that the awards, slated for June the 12th, 2018, can go on as planned. To other stories now. For the third time this week, the President has met with security chiefs at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The meeting, which was held behind closed doors, lasted less than 30 minutes. And after that, the Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, told State House correspondents that the meeting is only a review of issues discussed with the President during their last meeting on Tuesday. The President had met with security chiefs on June the 5th, after which the Defense Minister called for the suspension of the anti-open grazing law in some states. But that did not go down well with the National Assembly and the Benue State government.
How was the meeting, sir?
Well, it's just a review of what the previous meeting we had. Nothing else.
I was surprised that it lasted only about 10 minutes.
That's what I said. It's a review of what we did last Tuesday.
Minister of Defense Mansur Dan Ali. An urgent reform of Nigeria's security architecture might just be in the kitty. That's if the words of the Interior Minister is anything to go by. Lieutenant General Abdulrahman Dambazao and the Commandant of the Special Military Task Force to secure the Niger Delta region contend that the current military structure sometimes prevents security operatives from effectively carrying out their duties.
The activities of militancy in the Niger Delta region, the emergence of Boko Haram in the northeast, as well as the incessant herders-farmers clashes across the country, have undoubtedly challenged the Nigerian military in recent times. Although some of these security challenges have been reasonably managed, they form the crux of discussions as participants of Course 26 of the Nigeria Defense College analyze the nation's security architecture.
There's still a critical gap in the understanding, not about the definition of what security is, but the meaning of security itself. This is a very important area which strikes at the big question whether we really have good cognizance of what security is.
The commander of Operation Delta Safe highlights some of the challenges he grapples with because of the existing command control structure.
There are several instances where personnel deployed for the operation, including those of paramilitary agencies, are either withdrawn abruptly or call for their service agency or agency assignment without recourse to the headquarters of Operation Delta Safe. This is a command challenge which the force is grappling with. It affects the force's ability to effectively utilize the capability of the troops deployed.
Next, the Minister of Interior dressed in full traditional regalia, takes to the podium. He canvasses a reform of the country's security architecture.
There is no doubt that the entire security sector in Nigeria requires some reforms. Although strategic, security sector reform in Nigeria is not an option, but a must owing to a number of reasons.
As part of efforts to effectively manage national security, the National Defense College recently traveled to China and India to understudy the application of modern technology in national security. Many Nigerians look forward to see how the visit and the series of lectures organized by the college will help to improve the nation's security.
In part two, after the break, the Federal High Court in Lagos grants Senator representing Delta North, Pt.1, permission to travel to the United Kingdom for medical treatment. That's in a moment. Join us again.